Have you ever noticed the strange pull of absence? The quiet power of a space once filled, now empty? It's a haunting question, isn't it? What happens when the constant, the ever-present, simply vanish? Think of a room after a storm. The air is still, the world hushed, but the impact of what passed lingers. It's not about leaving, but about ceasing to be perpetually available, ceasing to be a perpetual resource. Consider the silence that follows a sudden stop. The world, for a moment, holds its breath. This isn't about manipulation. It's about a fundamental truth, a deep, almost spiritual law. What if your constant presence has been the very thing holding you back? What if your endless availability has been a cage, not a comfort? The air changes, the light shifts, the very fabric of connection reweaves itself. When you stop being available, everything changes. We live in a world of constant connection, a world that demands our presence, our attention, our immediate response. Notifications ping, messages flash. The digital world whispers, then shouts, "Are you there?" And we almost instinctively answer. We answer every call, every text, every demand on our time and energy. We believe that being always on is a virtue, that being constantly available is a sign of our worth. But what if this constant availability is creating a deep, hidden pain, a silent erosion of our inner selves? This isn't just about feeling busy. It's about feeling lost in the noise of others' demands. We become echoes, not voices. Reflections, not sources. This isn't a new phenomenon. Humans have grappled with the nature of presence and absence for centuries. Think of the modern professional always on call, the friend who never says no, the parent whose life revolves entirely around others. There's a subtle pressure, a societal expectation, that we should always be there, for everyone. But this expectation often comes at a steep price. Our peace, our purpose, our very sense of self. According to a study published in the Journal of Personality and Social Psychology, researchers found that individuals who consistently prioritize the needs of others over their own experience higher levels of stress and burnout. They also reported a decreased sense of personal agency. They felt less in control of their own lives. This isn't surprising. When your life is dictated by the availability you offer to others, you lose your own compass. The stakes are high. It's not just about inconvenience. It's about the slow decay of your sovereignty. It's about losing the quiet strength that comes from knowing who you are, independent of external demands. This journey we're about to embark on is not about becoming unapproachable. It's about becoming untouchable in your core. It's about understanding the subtle yet profound power that lies in strategic unavailability. A power that can redefine your relationships, your value, your very existence. The ancient Stoics understood this profoundly. They taught the mastery of one's inner world, independent of external circumstances. Marcus Aurelius, the philosopher-emperor, often spoke of the importance of the inner citadel. Choose not to be harmed, and you won't feel harmed. Don't feel harmed, and you haven't been. This isn't a call to indifference. It's a call to self-possession. It's about understanding that your peace is not a commodity to be given away freely. It's about recognizing that constant availability dilutes your essence. It makes you a common resource. Think of water, abundant, readily available. But what of the rare, precious gem? Its value comes from its scarcity, its allure from its guardedness. Your perpetual presence can make you invisible, paradoxically. Like the air we breathe, it's only truly noticed when it's gone. When you are always there, always ready, always responding, you inadvertently train others to expect it. This expectation then morphs into a demand, and eventually into an unspoken right. They begin to see your time, your energy, your emotional capacity as an endless well from which they can draw, without thought of replenishment. Carl Jung, the Swiss psychiatrist, delved into the depths of the unconscious. He spoke of the self. The self, for Jung, is the totality of the personality. It encompasses both conscious and unconscious aspects. But how can you truly connect with yourself if you're always outwardly focused, always responding? Your constant availability keeps you from the crucial inward journey. Jung believed that the journey to individuation, becoming a whole, complete individual, requires confronting your own shadow. It requires deep introspection, a turning away from the constant noise of the external world. When you're always available, you deny yourself this vital space, this sacred pause. You become a projection screen for others' needs, their anxieties, their desires. You might find yourself mirroring their emotions, their opinions, losing the distinct contours of your own identity. This isn't empathy. It's emotional enmeshment. It's the erosion of your boundaries, a slow bleeding out of your unique essence. To discover yourself, you must occasionally retreat from the world's clamor. You must create the silence in which your own inner voice can finally be heard. This silence is not empty. It is pregnant with possibility, with discovery. It is where your truest insights reside. Machiavelli, the Florentine diplomat, understood the dynamics of power. Though his writings are often seen as cynical, they hold a harsh truth. It is better to be feared than loved, if you cannot be both. This isn't about being feared in a malicious way. It's about being respected, valued. It's about making your presence, and therefore your absence, significant. When you are always available, you become predictable. Your presence is taken for granted. Your counsel loses its weight. Your efforts, their impact, because there is no mystery, no scarcity, no void to create a pull. This concept isn't about playing games. It's about a fundamental recalibration of your energetic boundaries. It's about understanding that your availability is a resource, a finite one, and like any valuable resource, it must be managed, protected, even hoarded, because when that resource becomes scarce, its value inevitably rises. When you stop being available, you force a reevaluation, a rethinking. Others are prompted to consider your true worth, not just your convenience. They begin to truly see you, perhaps for the first time, not as a background element but as a central figure in their own understanding of connection. This concept ties deeply into what Jung called shadow work. The shadow is the unconscious aspect of the personality that the conscious ego does not identify with. It's everything you suppress. When you are constantly available, you often suppress your own needs, your own boundaries. You become agreeable to a fault. You avoid conflict. You say yes when you desperately want to say no. This constant outward focus keeps you from integrating these disowned parts of yourself. It keeps you from confronting the discomfort of setting limits, of saying no. But it is in these moments of confrontation, of self-assertion, that true growth happens. The shadow often holds our deepest fears and our greatest potentials. Our fear of rejection, of not being liked, often drives our overavailability. We fear that if we are not constantly present, we will be forgotten or worse, abandoned. But confronting this fear, by choosing unavailability, allows us to integrate the parts of ourselves that crave autonomy and true self-worth. This is the brave work of bringing the hidden into the light, of acknowledging that your peace is worth protecting, even if it means disappointing someone else. This integration builds resilience. It solidifies your core. Historians often point to figures who mastered this art of strategic withdrawal. Think of military generals who strategically retreat to gain a stronger position. They don't disappear forever. They become unavailable to regroup, to strategize, to return stronger. Consider figures like Mahatma Gandhi. His acts of fasting, of strategic non-cooperation, were a form of unavailability. He withdrew his cooperation, his presence, and in doing so, created an immense, undeniable force. His absence spoke louder than any speech. It compelled a nation, and indeed the world, to listen. This is not about being passive-aggressive. It's about active, conscious disengagement. It's about withdrawing your energy from situations, relationships, or demands that drain you. This creates a vacuum, a space where others are forced to confront their own expectations, a space where they are forced to value your presence in a new way. They begin to feel your absence, to understand the void that your constant presence once filled. This feeling, initially unsettling, can lead to a profound reevaluation of their relationship with you. It forces them to see you not as a given, but as a gift. Nietzsche, the German philosopher, often spoke of the will to power. This isn't about dominating others. It's about self-overcoming, self-mastery. He who has a why to live can bear almost any how. Your why cannot be constantly dictated by others' demands. Your constant availability strips you of your why. It makes you reactive, not proactive. It makes you a servant of external forces, rather than the master of your own destiny. When you stop being available, you reclaim your will, your autonomy. You reclaim the power that was quietly, subtly slipping away. This is a deep metaphysical shift. It alters the very energy of your interactions. Others begin to perceive you differently, not as a resource but as a force, not as someone to be taken for granted, but someone to be truly engaged with. This silence, this absence becomes a potent weapon, not for harm but for rebalancing. It's a declaration of self-worth. It communicates, without words, that you respect your own time and energy enough to protect it. And when you respect yourself, others are compelled to follow suit. This is a quiet rebellion against the constant demands of the modern world, a reclaiming of your inner sanctuary. Now, how do we translate this profound understanding into tangible action? How do we practice this strategic unavailability? These are not aggressive acts. They are subtle shifts, powerful rituals for reclaiming yourself. They require discipline, consistency, and a deep belief in your own inherent value. They are not designed to punish others, but to liberate you. Ritual 1, the digital disappearance. This isn't about deleting your social media. It's about intentional withdrawal. The digital realm has blurred the lines between work and rest, public and private. It has created an expectation of instantaneity that is unsustainable and harmful to our mental well-being. This ritual directly addresses that. Step 1. Choose a specific, regular time each day or week where you become entirely unavailable digitally. No phone, no email, no social media. This is not negotiable. Start small, perhaps 30 minutes, and gradually extend it. It could be the first hour of your day, the last hour of your evening, or a dedicated block on a weekend afternoon. Make it consistent. Step 2. Communicate this. Inform your close circle, calmly, that during these hours you are unreachable. I'll be offline from 7 p.m. to 9 p.m. daily for personal reflection. Or, on Sundays, my phone is off until noon. This isn't an apology, it's a boundary. It sets clear expectations. You are teaching others how to treat you by demonstrating how you treat yourself. Step 3. During this period, engage in an activity that nourishes your soul. Read, meditate, walk in nature, write, cook, engage in a hobby. The key is to connect with your inner world, to replenish your spirit, to simply be without the constant hum of external demands. This time is sacred. The goal is to create a digital void, a space where others are forced to wait, to consider. Initially, there might be discomfort, for you and for others. This is part of the process. It teaches them and you that your time is not an open faucet. It cultivates patience in others and reinforces your commitment to self-care. You will notice a profound sense of calm washing over you as you detach from the digital tether. Ritual 2, the art of the deliberate pause. In conversations, in decision-making, in responding to requests, introduce a deliberate pause. We often feel compelled to respond instantly, to fill silences, to provide immediate answers. This impulse often leads to hasty decisions, commitments we regret, and a sense of being perpetually reactive. The deliberate pause is a powerful tool for reclaiming your agency. Step 1. When asked for something, anything, resist the urge to immediately respond, even for small requests. This applies whether it's a request for your time, your opinion, your help, or a direct question in conversation. Don't be afraid of silence. Step 2. Cultivate the phrase, "Let me think about that and get back to you." Or, "I need a moment to consider." Or simply, "That's an interesting question." You don't need to justify or over-explain. A calm, firm statement is sufficient. This immediately signals that your time and thoughts are valuable, not instantly accessible. Step 3. Use this pause to genuinely assess. Is this aligned with my goals? My energy? Does this serve me? What are the implications of saying yes or no? This is a moment of self-reflection, a check-in with your inner wisdom. It allows you to respond from a place of intention, not impulse. This isn't about being slow. It's about being thoughtful, being discerning. It signals that your answer is not automatic, that your agreement is a considered choice. This pause reclaims your decision-making power. It shifts the dynamic from demand response to request consideration. Others will begin to anticipate your thoughtful responses, and this builds respect. They will understand that your yes holds weight because your no is also a possibility. Ritual 3, the sanctuary of silence. This ritual is about carving out physical and energetic space for yourself. In our crowded lives, finding moments of true solitude can feel impossible. Yet, solitude is where we reconnect with our deepest selves, where creativity flourishes, and where true rest occurs. Step 1. Identify one physical space in your home or environment that is exclusively yours. A chair, a corner, a room. It doesn't need to be grand. It just needs to be a place where you can be undisturbed. Step 2. Declare the space and the time spent there off limits to interruptions. This is your sanctuary. For these designated times, phones are silent, doors are closed if possible, and interruptions are minimized. This is a commitment to yourself. Step 3. During your time in this sanctuary, engage in introspective practices. Journal your thoughts. Reflect on your day. Simply be. Meditate. Read profound texts. Listen to quiet, reflective music. The goal is profound inward connection, not external stimulation. This creates a palpable boundary, a visible manifestation of your unavailability. It teaches others to respect your need for solitude. And more importantly, it teaches you to honor it. You are cultivating a habit of self-reverence. This sanctuary becomes a wellspring from which you draw strength, clarity, and peace. It's a sacred investment in your own well-being that pays dividends in every area of your life. It ensures you have a place to retreat and fortify your spirit, even if only for a few minutes. These practices, when consistently applied, begin to rewire expectations, both yours and others. This journey is not about becoming a recluse. It's about becoming a master of your own energy. It's about understanding the subtle, often unspoken, laws of human interaction. When you begin to practice these silent weapons of unavailability, you will notice shifts. Some will be subtle, a longer pause before a response, a moment of quiet anticipation. Others will be profound. Relationships will recalibrate. Some may even fall away. This is not a loss, but a clearing, a necessary pruning. The relationships that remain will be deeper, more respectful, more authentic, because they will be built on true value, not on convenient access. You will find your voice growing stronger, clearer, your decisions more resolute. Your inner world, once a tumultuous sea, will become a calm, deep ocean. This isn't about being selfish. It's about understanding that you cannot pour from an empty cup. Your availability is a finite resource, and its careful management is a form of self-care. It's an act of deep self-love that extends outward, allowing you to give more authentically when you choose to give. The wisdom of the Stoics, the insights of Jung, the harsh truths of power dynamics, they all converge here. They all point to the profound impact of intentional absence. You are not defined by your readiness to serve others. You are defined by your inherent worth. And that worth is amplified when it is not constantly diluted by omnipresence. You become an individual, not merely a function. Think of the sun. It is always there, but its light is most appreciated after darkness. Its warmth is most sought after the cold. Its presence becomes more potent, more cherished, when it is not taken for granted. This shift will invite a deeper respect into your life, a different kind of admiration. People will start to seek you out for your wisdom, your genuine insights, your considered opinions. Not because you are merely convenient, but because you are valuable. This is the alchemy of unavailability. It transforms commonness into rarity. It turns constant noise into potent silence. Embrace this journey. Embrace the quiet strength of choosing your moments. The world will adjust. It will always adjust. And in that adjustment, you will find your true power, your authentic self. The self that was perhaps buried under layers of constant obligation, waiting patiently for you to reclaim it. This is not just a strategy, it is a way of living that honors your deepest needs and allows your true potential to unfold. It's a path to a more aligned, more fulfilling existence. This process of intentional withdrawal and re-engagement is a cyclical dance. It's not a one-time decision, but an ongoing practice. There will be moments of doubt, moments when the old urges to please or to be constantly on resurface. This is normal. Acknowledge them and gently redirect yourself back to your chosen path. Remember the feeling of calm, the clarity, the sense of self-possession that comes from choosing your silence. This feeling is your compass. Remember that initial haunting question? What happens when the constant, the ever-present, simply vanish? The paradox holds true, but with a new layer of understanding. When you stop being constantly available, everything changes. Not just for others, but most profoundly, for you. It is in this chosen absence that your true presence emerges. Stronger, clearer, and infinitely more powerful. If this message resonates with you, if it made sense, write in the comments. I choose my peace. Let's see how many here are ready for this transition. And don't forget, keep watching the next video. See you there.